We're very honored to have Alex Collier join us. This is pretty much unprecedented. He does not speak, as you may know, often or even has in quite some time. So I just wanted to say that I got a message over a year ago that the Andromedans wished to speak and that they wished Alex Collier to come to Camelot and that we could provide a service or a platform for that. So we've been working to have that happen. It's taken quite some time. We're really happy that this can happen today, and we just want to say thank you very much for making this possible to the hidden beings here and around us at this time. So, Alex, I'm actually not going to give you a big introduction beyond that today. I'm going to let you speak for yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Collier.
Can you all hear? All right, great. I want to thank all the speakers. I was at home yesterday watching the streaming, and God, they were just, George Green and just all of the speakers, just fantastic, and they give so much. And I know that all of you here give so much, and you try in your own way to share the light. I mean, there's two ways to be the light, and that one is to be the candle, and the other is the mirror that reflects the candle. And we live in an extraordinary time on Earth. I mean, absolutely extraordinary. In the next several years, you're all going to think you're living in a science fiction movie. And you are living in a science fiction movie, except it isn't a movie, it's reality. If you want information on me, I think there's some on the web, both pro and con. And, I'm just going to get right into it. I'm going to give you some updates, and then we're going to talk about some things that I was specifically asked to speak to you about from Morine. Einstein said, you cannot solve the problems of the world with the same thinking that created them. And that is no more prevalent and relevant than it is today. We have enormous problems, or challenges, I should say, challenges, that take enormous amount of brainstorming and solutions. The difficulty in trying to solve some of the issues that we have is the fact that we do not have all the data. And the two gentlemen that were up here prior to alluded to that. So did Robert Dean, Mr. Green, Bill and Carrie have. So many of the speakers, as we keep trying to go forth and gather all the information to try to solve this out. I, like many of the other speakers, and each of you have a small piece of the puzzle. Now, we're going to talk about some of that today. I know that there's an awful lot of talk about disclosure. I know that in the exopolitics community there's a great deal of talk about disclosure. I personally don't believe the United States government's ever going to admit it. It'll probably come from another country, India or China, first. Or the extraterrestrials themselves are going to show themselves and just say, hey, this charade's gone on long enough, which is probably the highest probability at this point. And we will talk about some of that today. I had honed my presentation for an hour because that's what I thought I had. In talking about solving the problems, at the very top of our power structure, the planet Earth lives in a pyramidal power structure. Extraterrestrial civilizations no longer use that power structure, the pyramidal power structure. They have been using a holographic ever since the end of the Orion Wars, okay, which would be in our linear time about 360,000 years ago. Since then, most of the civilized, benevolent civilizations, including some of the rogue, regressive groups, and they are a minority, have been using a holographic social structure. And we're going to talk about that today, okay? We're also going to talk about creating a new domain of knowing, a space in which we can create an opportunity for Earth to be mentored, because we need some help here. We are a little bit in over our heads. Okay? So, it takes me a little while to warm up here. I'm a little rusty. As of the last several days, much of the Cassini project has been classified. The reason for that is because of all the mothership activity that has now been filmed and documented in the Saturnian system around Saturn. We also have 1.5 million miles off of the South Pole, a 20-mile craft that has sat and is stationary. NASA and other organizations, telescopes have been monitoring it for 8 months. They watched its trajectory to us. It is now stationary, and there are craft going in and out of this 20-mile structure. I don't know any more about it than that. I also want you to know that there is a very large planetary structure coming in, 18 degrees, right ascension of Neptune's orbit. It should be visible sometime in the next year. There is an awful lot going on, and of course, you're all paying the bills, and no one's being told anything about it. Now, it goes far deeper than spooking the herd. That is really not the intention here at all. Okay, the intention here, and what's really been going on, is simply this. Bob Dean made a reference yesterday to almost feeling sorry for the government about the situation that they're in. I would have to concur with him on that, in the fact that the government made some treaties, cut some deals for technology in exchange for experimentation and observation, and they were tricked. They really did not know what they were getting themselves into. And now the hand has been dealt. There are many people within the UFO community that say that all the extraterrestrials are benevolent. Ladies and gentlemen, it is in my own personal opinion and based on the knowledge that I have that that is completely irresponsible to say. We live in a duality. Because if it was all love and light, we would not be going down this road to global fascism and the powers that be wanting to eliminate 2/3 of the world's population. That is not love and light. Okay? So, we have a lot of things to cover, and a lot of things are going to be occurring. The economic situation is what it is. Mr. Green gave a fantastic presentation yesterday. There is absolutely nothing that I disagree with him about. He made a reference to buying gold and silver. I think that's a really good idea. However, you cannot eat gold and silver. It is imperative that you start storing food, and I will tell you simply why. If they do crash the dollar, which they are going to do, in order to create a global currency and a global government, you won't be able to buy food. He made reference to the currency being devalued 6-1 in the next several months. Gasoline will go to $18, $20 a gallon. Truckers will not be able to deliver product. What you have is what you'll have.